Hello everyone, welcome back to ESL DRILL. In today's video, let's discuss the poem Or Will the Dreamer Wake, written by Medora Chevalier. The title of the poem Or Will the Dreamer Wake is very thought-provoking. The poetess Medora Chevalier discusses the danger that certain species of animals are in. Man has caused this destruction. Man is still dreaming about his wonderful existence in the future, but it cannot be so. Will the man wake up and act? Let's see. Before we begin, let me tell you about one of my students named Dedipya who recited this poem for me. I hope you will like it, and I owe my sincere thanks to her because she readily agreed to record that recitation and then send it to me. Now let's get into the poem. Let's look at stanza 1. First, listen to the stanza and then we'll discuss that.
Out in the east, the jungle listens, the tigress plaintive growls in pain. The great trees hear her breathing, shaking inside her still. The new lies wait. These cubs could be the last ones ever to freely live and roam unmade. A grandchild knows the tiger never will the dream awake.
Well, let's now discuss the ideas and the vocabulary here. The direction mentioned here is east. East refers to Asian continent. Actually, in the 16th century, the Europeans divided the world into 4 continents, and this east refers to Asian continent. And the creature mentioned here is the tigress or the tiger. Now, we understand that the tigress is plaintive and growls in pain. Let's understand these words. The tigress is plaintive. She is sad. And look at another example here. I heard a plaintive voice of a woman. This is not about the poem, by the way, an extra example. I heard a sad voice of a woman. And the tigress growls in pain. Let's look at the word growl here. Growl is to make a long, deep, angry sound. For example, the dog growled at me. And we have to understand these ideas here. The tigress is sad and she growls in pain. We have to understand why it is so. We'll get back to that later. Now here through this stanza, the poetess Medora Chevalier tells us that the terrestrial region, land, is depleted. Man is causing that destruction. And this tigress is actually about to give birth to her babies, her cubs, C-U-B-S. And the tigress is plaintive, sad, and she growls in pain because the tigress knows that these cubs, these babies could be the last babies ever to freely live and roam and mate. Let's understand these words, roam and mate. These new lives could be the last ones to freely roam and mate. Roam means to walk. If you look at another example, the cats are allowed to roam around, means allowed to walk around. Now these cubs could be the last ones to freely move in the forest. And also these cubs could be the last ones to have sex and produce babies. That is the word mate. And you have understood why the tigress is plaintive. The tigress knows that her species is going to be extinct. Her species is going to end. That's why the poetess says, the great trees hear her breathing, shaking. This word suggests everything. Shaking suggests that the tigress is not happy about the situation she is in. So when we shake our heads, we mean we are not happy about something. And look at the last 2 lines there. Our grandchild knows the tiger never, or will the dreamer wake? Who is the grandchild? It's the future generation, people from future generations. Means our future generations will never know how tiger looks like or what a tiger is. Or will the dreamer wake? We'll understand these ideas in the next slides. Here, or will the dreamer wake? In this, the dreamer is none other than human being. So we are the dreamers. Let's understand these ideas now. The poetess says, our grandchild knows the tiger never. What does that mean? It means our future generations will never see tigers, as they will have become extinct by then. As tigers will have become extinct, will have disappeared from the face of the earth by then. And what about, or will the dreamer wake? The poetess is asking us this question. We have already learned that the dreamer is human. The dreamers are human beings. The question is, or will the human beings realize the damage they have done to the environment and do something now to protect it? Okay, this is the question that the poetess asks at the end of each stanza. Now let's look at the summary of the first stanza. Well, in this stanza, Medora Chevalier says that land is depleting because of man's deeds, that is cutting down forests. Though the poetess mentioned only tiger species here, she is actually referring to all the animals that live in the forest. Here the tigress is sad because her species could be the last one, as they'll disappear from the face of the earth in the near future if the environment is not saved. Chevalier also says that the future generations will never know the tiger because they will be extinct by then. She asks the dreamers, that is humans, if they'll realize how they are destroying the environment. She asks us to save the environment before it is too late. Okay, shall we look at the second stanza now? Again, listen to that carefully and we'll discuss.
Far in the north, the white bear snuffles down in her lair the gleaming snow. She waits for all the life she's making outside the crashing glaciers grow. These cubs could be the last cubs ever to freely live on Rome and Maid. Our grandchild knows the white bear never, or will the dream awake?
Okay, let's look at the ideas now. Again, the direction mentioned here is north. That refers to Europe. And the creature mentioned is the white bear. Where does the white bear live? Where do we see white bear? In polar region. That also refers to snow that is destroyed, polar regions that are destroyed. So the white bear snuffles here. Look at this word snuffle, to breathe noisily. To breathe noisily, especially when you are crying. The white bear is crying, the white bear is not happy at all, that's why she is breathing noisily. Look at the example here. He was snuffling and blowing his nose. This is an extra example, but not from the poem. Okay, now, where is this white bear? Down in her lair. Lair, what is this? Lair is the place where a wild animal hides and sleeps. Here, lair is where this white bear lives, hides and sleeps. And she is in her lair and there is gleaming snow. Outside there is gleaming snow, shining snow. Look at this here. She waits for all the life she is making. She waits for all the life she is making. Means she is waiting for human beings to do something. Also, it can be understood as the white bear is waiting for the babies to come out so that she could take care of them, feed them, and then make sure that they grow well. But the white bear is also sad because outside the crashing glaciers grow. This word can be pronounced as either glaciers or glaciers. Okay, the crashing glaciers grow or glaciers grow. So glaciers, let's look at that here. Glaciers are large masses of ice which move slowly down a mountain valley. So why are they crashing? They are crashing because of man's interference with the environment, because of the global warming. So extremely high rise in temperatures around the world. These polar regions are melting. The snow is melting in polar regions. And the white bear is unhappy with the situation because she knows that these cubs could be the last cubs ever to freely live on Roman mate We have already discussed these words. And our grandchild knows the white bear never. Our future generations will never know white bear. Or will the dream awake? Or will the human beings do something to set things right, to protect the environment? Let's move to the summary of this second stanza. Well, in this stanza, the poetess thinks that the glaciers in the polar regions are melting because of the unusual increase in temperature caused by the global warming. The polar bear is snuffling, breathing noisily because she is sad that her species might not live further. The polar bear waits for her babies to grow and she wants to feed them. She is waiting for the arrival of her babies. Though she senses danger, she is not much worried about it as she focuses on the present now. The poetess says we will not see white bear in the future if we do not protect the environment. Okay, now let's get into the third stanza. Again, listen to that stanza and we'll discuss.
There in the west the song thrush wobbles. She weaves her nest to hold her clutch. A long wait now to find a partner. The eggs are laid, there are not much. These chicks could be the last ones ever, the last to fly and sing and mate. Our grandchild knows the song thrush never, or will the dream awake?
Well, let's get into the analysis. The direction mentioned here is west. Again, that refers to American continent. And the creature is song thrush. That's a bird that sings with a high pitch, that sings very loudly. And this song thrush warbles. That is the meaning I have explained. Warble, to sing in a high pitch, to sing aloud. This song thrush bird warbles. She weaves her nest to hold her clutch. What is the area that is destroyed here? The area is air. That's aerial region. And this song thrush weaves her nest to hold her clutch. Here, clutch is all the eggs that a bird lays at one time. Now, there are no eggs, but the bird song thrush is preparing her nest in advance so that she can keep her eggs when she has eggs. Okay, but the problem here is a long wait now to find a partner. As the number of birds is going down all the time, this female bird, song thrush, is trying really hard to find a male partner. Okay, finally she finds a male partner, the eggs are laid, but there are not much. Now this suggests that there are not many occasions where there is mating that takes place and then birds produce eggs. No, these chicks could be the last ones ever. So chicks means birds. These birds could be the last ones ever. The last to fly and sing and mate. You know, birds fly, birds sing, and they mate. We have already learned this word. And our grandchild knows this song thrush never. Our grandchild will never know what a song thrush is. Or will the dream awake? That's the question that the poetess asks again. Okay, let's move to the summary of this third stanza. Well, in this stanza, the poetess says that man has polluted air, causing difficulties for the birds to survive. The number of birds is going down as a result of this. The song thrush bird optimistically builds a nest in order to hold her babies, but she struggles to find a male partner. It's because there are not many birds. Cellular radiation and the flying of aeroplanes are the two main reasons. The poetess says that we should do something to save them from extinction. Now let's look at the fourth stanza, shall we? Listen to this now.
Deep in oceans out the whale swims, a song of birthing fills the seas. Thousands of creatures wait the moment, the solemn birth that they will see. This child could sing the final whale song, the last to make the ocean shake. Our grandchild never hears its mystery, or will the dream awake?
Okay, the next direction mentioned here is south, and the creature is whale. We are talking about water. So the affected area is water. Man hasn't left any area of the environment. And the whale is not happy and is happy. Her song of birthing fills the seas. Her song of birthing fills the seas. Now, the whale is very happy because she is about to give birth to a baby whale. And thousands of creatures wait the moment, the solemn birth that they will see. So, the birth of a baby whale is referred to as solemn birth. The word solemn means serious. Why is the birth considered as a serious one? Why do you think the thousands of creatures are waiting to see this moment, are waiting for this moment? It's because this is a serious birth, because it's going to be the last birth of a baby whale. And these whales know that these babies are going to be the last ones ever. And they are going to become extinct. And they are unhappy because they are unhappy, and they are in serious mood because it's going to be the last baby ever. And this child could sing the final whale song, the last to make the oceans shake. You know, these whales can shake the oceans. They are so big that they can shake the oceans. And it's going to be the last whale that can shake the oceans. And our grandchild never hears its mystery. It means that our future generations will never know the mysterious disappearance of these whales. How mysteriously these whales disappear. They'll never know. Or will the dream awake? Okay, the direction is south and it refers to African continent. So we have covered all four directions. Is there any one area, one direction that man has not touched in a negative way? Is there any one area that man has left alone? No. Man has destroyed every part of the environment. Now let's look at the summary of this fourth stanza. In this stanza, the poetess says that the whales celebrate the birth of the last whale child, and it is a song of joy and sorrow. Other creatures of the ocean know that it's going to be the end of the whales. That's why the word solemn is used here. Many creatures like whales are dying due to human interference with the environment. If this is not stopped, our future generations will not know how mysteriously these creatures disappeared. Okay, now let's look at the last stanza. Okay, are you ready to listen to this?
Here in the center, four directions gather. The path ahead leads up or down. Is this our last bright new world birthing? Is this our waving as we drown? This could be our last true moment, knowing the truth, a choice is made. A grandchild asks, that was the moment, and did the dreamer wake?
Okay, now let's look at the ideas here. So we have already discussed four areas of the environment that man has destroyed. And we are in the center. We are in the center where four directions gather, where four directions meet. And the path ahead leads up or down. Look at the meaning here. The path ahead is up or down means the future is not certain whether it's going to be good or bad, because we have spoiled it. We have spoiled the environment. We have spoiled the nature. Now, is this our last bright new world birthing? Let's look at what it means. Is this our last bright new world birthing means, are we going to create a new world where we live with the nature but not away from it, not away from the nature? If that is so, that's okay. Is this our waving as we drown? This idea means, when we look at someone who is waving as he drowns, we think that by looking at his waving hands, we think that he is very happy, but we don't understand that he is about to die. Now, in the same way, similarly, we seem to be very happy thinking that we are safe and sound. but we are drowning, we are descending to our deaths. And this could be our last true moment. It means this could be our last chance to create what we want or to get what we want. So, knowing the truth, our choices make. So we have to know the truth and make our choices wisely. So knowing the truth, what is the truth that we should know? The truth that we should know is that we have damaged the environment. And what are the choices that we should make? The choices that we should make are wise choices in terms of rehabilitating the environment, in terms of making the environment look cleaner as it was before. And that is a wise choice that we should make. And our grandchild asks, that was the moment, and did the dreamer wake? Our future generations will ask, that was the moment you all realized that the environment was degraded, and did the dreamer wake? And did the human beings do something to protect it, to save it? And we have to answer those questions asked by our future generations. And if you don't want to answer those questions, if you don't want to hear such questions, you have to act now and do something. Now let's look at the summary of this last stanza. The poetess means to say that we have destroyed almost every part of the environment. Here the four directions represent the four continents that the Europeans divided the world into in 16th century. The poetess says that the path ahead is either up or down. She might mean that the future is uncertain because we have spoiled the environment. Chevalier says, is this our waving as we drown? She means that we seem to be happy, but we are descending to our deaths. A drowning man waves his hands and people who see him might think that he is very happy. We are bringing our own destruction by not taking care of the environment. If we don't act now, it's gone forever. We have to make wise choices in order to protect the planet so that we can survive. Now let's look at the tone of the poem. The poetess expresses her disappointment and sadness, so it should be lament or disappointment. Towards the end, the lines in the poem suggest that there is an urgency to do something to protect the environment. So you can mention one of these as the tone of the poem, like urgency, lament, disappointment. Well, that's the end of the poem and its analysis. I hope you have enjoyed watching this video. If there is anything that you would like to ask, please mention them in the comment section. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. Please don't forget to share it. Many people might get benefit out of it. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you with my next video.